Imagine being a law-abiding American citizen going on your day as usual. Then suddenly you're approached by law enforcement saying that you've been identified as a suspect in a crime and then arrested. This is what happened to Porcha Woodruff. Porcha Woodruff is a 32-year-old mother of 2 and 8 months pregnant. She was going about her life as normal. And then the morning of February 16th, she was getting her 2 children ready for school in the morning when 6 police officers, not 1, but 6 officers showed up at her doorstep and presented her with an arrest warrant saying that she has been accused of robbery and carjacking. Her arrest occurred in front of her 2 children.
A mother of 2 frisked and handcuffed, arrested for carjacking in front of her young daughters. Problem is, she was 8 months pregnant and had nothing to do with the crime.
I wasn't here. I don't know this person. I don't know if I can say what I want to say, but what in the hell? Seriously?
Porcha Woodruff says she was getting her 7 and 12-year-old daughters ready for school the morning of February 16th when there was a knock at the door. It was the police, 6 officers.
We have a warrant for your arrest. Initially, I thought it was a joke.
It was no joke, and it was all in front of her children.
She later found out that she was implicated as a suspect through a photo lineup by the victim of a robbery and carjacking. According to the victim's statement, the victim stated that he met this woman on January 29th and they had sexual intercourse. Later that day, they went to a BP gas station, and the victim had stated that while they were at the gas station, he saw the woman interact with several individuals at the gas station. And upon leaving the gas station, they went to another location where the victim has said that he was robbed at gunpoint by a man that looked like the man that the woman was talking to at the gas station. The victim also said that his phone was returned back to the gas station 2 days later. When the victim wasn't questioned, he never mentioned of this woman that he was with that she was pregnant.
Woodruff and her attorney believe she would never have been arrested if investigators had asked the carjacking victim if the woman involved looked to be about 8 months pregnant.
They're not equipped to deal with facial recognition. You don't receive a hit and just send out the warrant.
If you ask me, being 8 months pregnant, that would bring huge details. That's a very important detail to omit if this was the woman that he was with. So Detective Oliver was assigned to this case, and after hearing that the victim's phone was returned back to the gas station, Detective Oliver ran facial recognition technology on that surveillance video. And that's when the victim was shown a lineup of the potential suspects, and the victim had identified Woodruff as the woman he was with when he was robbed. Detective Olive used an 8-year-old picture of Woodruff in that lineup from an arrest that occurred in 2015 when she was arrested for driving with an expired driver's license. Now, according to Ms. Woodruff, she was held for 11 hours, questioned about a crime that she had no knowledge of, and her iPhone was seized to be searched for evidence. And she stated that I was having contractions in my holding cell. My back was sending me sharp pains. I was having spasms. I think I was probably having a panic attack. I was hurting sitting on those concrete benches.
I started having contractions while I was in cell. Why I had to go to the hospital after I was released.
She went straight to the hospital where she was diagnosed with dehydration and was given 2 bags of intravenous fluids. A month later, the Wayne County prosecutor dismissed the case against her. According to NBC News, on March 26, the Wayne County prosecutor's office dropped the case for insufficient evidence, according to the lawsuit. In a statement that Sunday, the prosecutor office said the case was dismissed, which emphasizes that a judge made the final decision, not the prosecutors. The prosecutor's office said the warrant that led to Woodruff's arrest was on solid ground. The warrant was appropriate based upon the facts, it said. Okay. So now the question is, how factual and is facial recognition when using it to help solve a criminal case? Now, Miss Woodruff is not the first person that has been falsely accused of a crime based on the results of facial recognition technology that's currently being used by police. There has been 6 different cases. All people have been black. It's just that Miss Woodruff is the first woman to report it happening to her. This is the 3rd case involving the Detroit Police Department, which runs on average 125 facial recognition searches a year, almost entirely on black men. According to weekly reports about the technology's use provided by the Police to Detroit Board of Police Commissioners, a civilian oversight group, critics of this technology say the case exposes its weaknesses and the dangers posed to innocent people. And ACLU has also been looking into this facial recognition software that's being used by law enforcement. And I'm not sure if you guys remember remember Robert Williams. This happened to him, and that was about, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, where Robert Williams was approached by law enforcement in his driveway in front of his wife and children. I think it was his daughter, or was it 2 kids? I'm not sure. 1 or 2 kids, where he was approached as well, saying that he was the suspect of a crime, and he was arrested based on the results of them using facial recognition.
Not make a show in front of your wife and kids because you are under arrest for your warrant, for your outstanding warrant. Can I see the warrant? We will show you the warrant in the car.
A wrongful arrest, an innocent man, the victim of inaccurate facial recognition technology at the hands of the Detroit Police Department.
All I did was come home from work and got arrested.
Now that victim, Farmington Hills resident Robert Williams, is testifying before the Congressional Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security about the dangers of facial recognition technology.
It was later found out that Robert Williams was completely innocent of the allegations that were upon him. So in the Robert Williams case, in April of 2001, ACLU filed a federal lawsuit against the Detroit Police Department, alleging that the officers involved violated Mr. Williams' rights under the 4th Amendment and the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act by arresting him on the basis of their flawed technology. According to Phil Mayer, which is an attorney at the ACLU in Michigan, he stated that he said an eyewitness who agrees with the computer that the person looks very similar to a perpetrator should not be considered sufficient evidence to arrest someone. He further also stated that it's deeply concerning that the Detroit Police Department knows the devastating consequences of using flawed facial recognition technology as their basis for someone's arrest and continues to rely on it anyway. But it does seem like there was definitely some negligence, some incompetence from this detective that was assigned to her case. because my question would be, one, if the victim stated that they were at the gas station prior to the robbery, so was that surveillance camera looked at, taken into consideration to see who this woman had interacted with at the gas station? Maybe they could have gotten 2 different pictures or a picture of someone else. When the victim was being questioned, he never mentioned that this woman that he was with was pregnant indeed. And another red flag that sticks out to me was that Detective Oliver used an 8-year-old picture from a previous arrest versus her current picture for the lineup. And then on top of that, it says here that on February 2nd, a man was arrested driving the victim's car. When that man was arrested, he was questioned by the detectives, but there was never a mention of a pregnant woman, and he was never shown Miss Woodruff's picture so that he could identify that that was the woman he was talking to at the BP, a gas station. This is a quite interesting story because this kind of affects a lot of innocent people. If the police departments are not doing their due diligence, from the way I understand it, they cannot use or should not use face recognition as their sole purpose or their sole reason for arresting someone on criminal charges. It's supposed to have other things to back that up to ensure that they are arresting the correct person. Hopefully they can get this fixed, but there has been a lot of talk with the ACLU and other individuals that really believe that facial recognition should not be used at all in law enforcement because it is not 100% proof. And when it's not 100% proof, it's going to violate someone's civil rights.
A technology that is created based on human input. It then is going to recreate the stereotypes and all the racist characteristics that, whether implicit or not, humans are feeding into this technology. The algorithms, the technology, the surveillance, everything is wrought with racism, and it has to end.
Steve, do you agree that they need to do away with, DPD, for example, needs to do away completely with this facial recognition technology?
No. The graphic said 6 people in the United States have been falsely accused, right? How many were excluded from being a possible suspect in the nation? How many of facial recognition said, that's the guy or that's the woman, and it was good? So you have 6 that were wrong, totally wrong, and I agree with that. 3 in Detroit, totally agree with that. Someone screwed up and dropped the ball. I want to know, 6 were wrong, how many were right? How many led to a conviction? Because they only use it if a crime's been committed. They don't just randomly throw people out. And like she alluded to with green light, it pops up, we look at it, okay. That's my opinion. How many people have been excluded as suspects? And I'd like to know the percentage of that.
So guys, this is an interesting story. I would love to hear what you think about this. So please leave a comment down below and tell me what you think. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are notified when I upload my next video. Thank you for taking the time to watch News Beat Now, and I'll see you in the next video.